Thank you very much, viewers. This is Diplomatic Leaks show from Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the second capital city or the second city of commercial city and the port city of Mombasa in Kenya, the Republic of Kenya. Viewers, as you might see, the format of our presentation has changed because I am going to be making a speech, a welcome speech, a presentation to the students of Great Lakes region and to the students of African politics and international politics and the European countries, those who don't understand the politics of the Great Lakes region. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the chairman of the East African community currently. I want to thank all the 5 of the presidents, the 7 presidents of the East African community, namely President Museveni of Uganda, President Kagame of Rwanda, President Samia of Tanzania, Suluhu of Tanzania, President of Rwanda, yes, I've mentioned Rwanda, President of Burundi, His Excellency, and that the name is always going away from me, but it will come. His Excellency General Maditi Eyad Salva Kiir of South Sudan, and the President of Republic of Kenya, His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, for the tenacity and the steadfastness that they have shown in making sure that slowly, East Africa is integrated. I want Africa is integrated. The integration of East Africa by block by block is what the founding fathers made them differ. Do we integrate block by block, or do we integrate wholesomely? I want to thank President Tshisekedi of Democratic Republic of Congo for having accepted to bring his country to this momentous time. It is with great pleasure, therefore, that I also want to thank us researchers of great organization called Punchline Africa TV, my researchers, those all presenters, for having put up a program 2 months ago regarding the Democratic Republic of Congo. In that program I said, and in that show I said, and I maintained that the only way to have Congo being a fruitful country in Africa was to rearrange it. The rearrangement of Congo, it caused quite a lot of difficulties for the people who were thinking I wanted Congo to be distributed amongst the states. I was talking about the rearrangement of Congo, that Congo has vast minerals, that Congo has got resources, that Congo has a population that can consume most of the manufactured goods in the greater East Africa and the bigger Africa, that Congo has the potential to bring about huge development in the Great Lakes region, that Congo, above all, has the cradle of humanity, the rareness of this country called Congo, with a huge tropical forest, with huge rivers that flow both into Atlantic Ocean and those go into other rivers across, is a very important nation that Africa must have in their fold. Ladies and gentlemen, Those watching us across the continent of Africa, you realize that we have been consistent. We have made our mark on the history of this country, on this continent called Africa. I have never shied away of saying what is supposed to be said as far as Africa is concerned. I have always been very brutal when it comes to telling the people of Africa the truth about Africa. I have never shied to confront anyone who would like to dismember Africa. Neither have I shied to confront anyone who would like to create chaos on the continent of Africa. I have never shied to point out measures that can bring about a better Africa. I have never shied to make an Africa a place for all the people to live in. I have never shied to make sure that Africa is recognized. I have never shied to make sure that we keep the dignity of the continent of Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa today bleeds because we lack internal mechanisms that can propel this continent to the higher heights. Africa today bleeds not because it has no resources. Africa has resources, but the resources of Africa are misused. The resources of Africa are tapped by other people, not ourselves. If you look at the countries on the continent of Africa that need rearrangement, you will find that these countries have a huge population. A huge population like Nigeria has 220 million people. But Nigeria is falling to pieces. Nigeria is sinking every day. When you look at the events taking place, the terrorism, the kidnap, the slaughter of the innocent Biafrans, the killings, the kidnapping of girls, it's a shame. What lessons then do we learn from 1961 when Congo got independence? It got an independence on a firm foundation of Africans for Africans with Africans. Patrice Lumumba wanted an Africa, wanted a Congo that can speak and that Africans can hear. Patrice Lumumba wanted a Congo that can be a country that can unite the rest of Africa. Patrice Lumumba wanted a Congo that can feed the entire Africa. But the events of 1961, where Patrice Lumumba was killed, murdered with traitors, internal traitors like Tombe and others, and Mobutu, brought about the demise of Congo. The body of Patrice Lumumba was kept until 2020, when the Belgians said we have his bones. Africa has been crying for those bones in order to make Congo, cleanse Congo. Maybe it is because of the disappearance of those bones that Congo did not stabilize. Congo is a country 4 times bigger than Europe. It takes you 4 hours to reach Kinshasa from Nairobi International Airport. It's a huge country where you see trees, natural trees that have lived for millions and millions and millions of years. Where you see rivers. Congo is a country which is vast in minerals. But its minerals also attract conflicts. Its minerals attract competition. Its minerals attract corruption. Its minerals attract rebels, terrorists, ADF and other terrorists, M23 and others that are stationed in Congo that keep on killing, maiming, destroying the properties of the people of Congo and the properties of the neighboring countries. It is for that matter then that we as scholars of this continent of Africa today welcome the beginning of rearrangement of Congo. I want to thank President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta that Your Excellency, together with the other 6 presidents, your timely intervention, your timely and speedy conclusion of this matter of Congo being admitted to the DRC will give history. You leave a legacy of hope, a legacy of unity, a legacy of hard work, a legacy of infrastructure, a legacy of enough food in this continent, a legacy of a united people. The slogan of Azimio la Umoja should move across the East African community. The integration of East African communities is paramount to our existence. It is important that the East African community makes it integrated, opens up the borders, that the natives of these countries move freely from Congo, DRC, Congo and Kinshasa, to Mombasa, to Dar es Salaam, to Bujumbura, to Juba, and to Nairobi, and Kampala and Kigali without any hindrance. That is the Africa that we want. That's the Africa that we wish we have. But we have obstacles, challenges of foreign intervention, darker forces that have always hindered our integration must be told, must be brought out to the people of Africa listening to my speech today. One of the challenges of Congo is corruption. And one of the challenges that kills East African communities, corruption. Corruption is embedded in most of the states in East Africa, apart from Rwanda that has fought and continues to fight corruption. The rest of the states that are joining hands as East African community states are corrupted. There is corruption. There is a high level of corruption. Corruption in services, corruption in delivery of all the ingredients of governance, corruption in extension of constitutionalism. The shrinkage of constitutionalism in Africa, in East Africa, creates the problem that we see in South Sudan today. The destruction of property, the killing of 300,000 people, murdered by armies that took part in the war in 2013, 2012, is what worries me as an African. The lack of accountability. And I've stated here that South Sudan can never and will never have peace as long as the agreement that was sorted out by IGAD is reversed. The agreement does not put accountability. I, Dr. David Matanga, proposes, and I proposed, and you can go and see my paper. You can see my paper on Pan-African Forum, www.panafricanforumltd.com. The breaking of the violence circle, breaking of the circle of violence in South Sudan. My proposals in 2012, 5 years, 5 days after the war broke out, I handed them to the Minister of Foreign Affairs by then, Amina Mohammed of Kenya, to forward to President Uhuru Kenyatta, that until that method is used, peace will not come in South Sudan. As the East African community welcomes a new member, there must be always, and there should be, decorum of entry and decorum of exit. Some of the members of East African community are hindrance to the integration itself. The type of governance, the type of belittlement of human rights abuses, the type of non-payments of tariffs, of charges, of contribution is what worries me. A country like South Sudan with plenty of oil is not able to pay membership fee for the East African Secretariat to operate. Then how long shall we take to integrate the entire Africa? Ladies and gentlemen, as I come to a conclusion, I want to make an appeal that the day of rearranging Congo began yesterday. The rearrangement of Congo is not to take away the rights of the people of Congo. The rearrangement of Congo is to make Congo better. To have Ugandan troops help to fight rebels, terrorists, ISIS that have gone deep into that territory to kill us. To have Kenyan KDF in Congo to help in building roads, infrastructure, hospitals, schools for people of Congo. To have a peaceful Tanzania that can help in health, education, building bridges, taking internet up to the old places of DRC Congo. That is the rearrangement we are looking for. That you can be accessible in Kisangani, you can be accessible in Ngoma, and you can be accessible in Kivu region, or Kinshasa, or the southern part of the diamond speaking near Angolan border and the Zambian border. You are accessible. That is the Congo we want. The rearrangement of Congo does not mean partitioning of Congo. Those who have intentions of partitioning Congo must not be allowed, and those intentions should not smear anywhere or appear anywhere in their doctrines of entry into the Congo country. I therefore want to end by welcoming the Democratic Republic of Congo and telling my researchers, thanking myself as a Pan-African Forum chairman and founder, that we have struggled for this for a long time on the sides together with the East African heads of state. Some of them, we might not be talking face to face, but some of them like the materials that we write and they read them. I want to thank you very much, Your Excellencies, for welcoming Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, into the East African community. And I propose that the area we open up, the area we arrange Congo, the area we get infrastructure going, we shall stop and preserve the forests of Garamba Park and other forests and natural reserves that we have in that great country called Democratic Republic of Congo. As we do this, I want to caution that there are enemies of such a move. There are enemies that don't want us to have 300 million people coming together and buying their own materials. I want to give an example as I end, the example of China. China 42 to 45 years ago was one of the poorest countries across the continent of Asia. China had one rice scheme in my country called Uganda. China did not even have enough food to eat. But today, China went back, rearranged itself. It rearranged China after the death of Mao Zedong. The rearrangement of China started where China today produces and lends us money, a country that shared us with us during the Obote days and the Idi Amin days We shared the rice from Kibimba rice scheme together with Ugandans and the Chinese. Today the Chinese give us the money, give us the terms, build us the roads, because they went back and reorganized, rearranged themselves. I leave this question therefore. Is it time for Africa to rearrange itself? I therefore submit. Thank you very much, viewers. That is the end of my overview. That's the end of my statement from the capital, second capital city of Kenya, commercial port, shipping in Mombasa. I want to thank President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta for what you have done for the people of East Africa. I wish this rail reaches Malaba the earliest SGR, so that we shall be working. You go back to you work in Uganda, in Rwanda, sleep in Mombasa the following morning. Mr. President, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Be proud. You have made the Kenyans and the East Africans very proud of you. Thank you very much, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And thank you very much, President Museveni, Kagame, Tshisekedi, Samia Suluhu, President Salva Kiir, the President of Burundi. Thank you very much, my brother. And the President Tshisekedi, you are welcome. East Africa needs you. Africa needs you. My role as an African, a Pan-African, is to push an integrated Africa, either by block or wholesomely. Let's move and have an Africa that is united, that can fight a common enemy of common enemies of poverty, ignorance, and disease. Thank you. Over to you, Miriam, in Nairobi.
All right, Doc, thank you so much for that submission there. Of course, as we know, the East African heads of state approved, as Doctor there has already said, the admission of the Democratic Republic of Congo into the bloc at a summit meeting yesterday. But although it officially has to become a member, not much can change straight away. Congolese lawmakers still have to ratify the EAC laws and regulations before they come into effect. And Congolese citizens wishing to visit the other member countries, Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda, without a visa may need to wait a little longer because full integration into the EAC could take months or even a year. For example, South Sudan took 4 months from acceding to the Community Treaty in April 2016 to becoming a full member of the EAC in August that year. DRC applied for membership in 2019, hoping to improve trade and political ties with its East African neighbors. It will allow Congolese citizens to travel freely to other countries, and trade will become much quicker, simpler, and cheaper, which should benefit businesses and consumers in all countries. The country shares borders with all East African community members except Kenya, and of course hopes to attract more investors from the region. So the inclusion of the Democratic Republic of Congo's consumer market of close to 90 million people will expand the EAC market to almost 300 million and open the bloc to the Congolese economy, which is rich in all kinds of natural resources. So we are looking at some numerical power that the Democratic Republic of Congo joining the EAC has brought with it. And as we speak right now, we know that KDF, we know that UPDF from Uganda, they're both in the DRC trying to help in bringing some stability as far as fighting the militants activities that have been ongoing in the northern part of the DRC are concerned. And yesterday, of course, a report came about that was quite unfortunate. There is a plane that was shot, a UN plane that was shot, and DRC has accused Rwanda of supporting the M23 rebels that are fighting in that region. So there's also other things that we have to look at, and the bloc have to deal with as far as the insecurity in the Democratic Republic of Congo is concerned. But first, I'd like to hear your views on top of what Dr. Matanga has said. Daniel Basonga, your thoughts on the Democratic Republic of Congo now having been admitted to the East African Community Bloc.
Miriam, I believe the DRC comes with a very, very rich market for the East African Community Bloc. And also, apart from that, you realize that DRC also has a very, very fertile land, has a lot of resources, has a big population which could provide a major labor force boost in the community. And therefore, when these countries come together through such agreements to work together, it's always a give and take, and therefore that only means that the EAC bloc is actually growing bigger, and this will benefit the community in terms of trade and industry, commerce, and also in matters security. Dr. Matsanga has just given his preamble introduction of this particular topic, and he has talked about how DRC is being rearranged in that the member state countries are actually moving into DRC and trying to support the initiative and the process which was started by the government of DRC in ensuring that we have peace and stability in the eastern part of the DRC, which has been volatile and in chaos since time immemorial. So I believe, Miriam, this is going to be a big boost once these member states are going to help DRC achieve peace and stability. Then East African community is going to have a very, very well calibrated growth in terms of economic growth, most probably. And Miriam, I believe that this is going to also have implications on individual member states. Remember, war is expensive, and regarding the fact that we have our troops in DRC, Uganda has some troops in DRC, Rwanda, Burundi, and other member states also have their men in uniform there. They are going to pay the cost of actually keeping their troops there. But at the end of the day, we have to look at the bigger picture, because if DRC was to be admitted into the East African community and we still have instability in the eastern part of Congo, then it means that the trickle-down effect actually goes all the way to these other member states. So it is a very, very quintessential matter that these member states are actually moving into DRC and ensuring that they push out these rebels and they are able to bring a calmness to the eastern part of the Congo. And therefore, this will ensure that economic activities which have been hindered over the years due to the long-standing conflict in the eastern Congo is actually done away with. And with peace and tranquility, Miriam, I believe these are fertile land. These are land full of resources. These are land full of potential that could actually be used to promote trade between Congo and the East African community member states and be able to enrich the region in its entirety. So to me, I think these are very, very good move, and we believe now that the EAC has also grown bigger, with Congo coming with more than 80 million of its population and its vast land and resources and all that, we expect that it's going to inject some kind of new blood in the economic setup of the region. And also the kind of conversation now is going to expand, not just the eastern part of the continent, but also the central part of the continent where Congo actually covers. Remember, Congo is a bigger country in Africa, is among the biggest countries in Africa, and therefore the geographical advantage that the region is going to have a big impact in the entire of the continent. So to me, I think of it as a more of a positive move, a move which will be beneficial to member states, and a move which will actually bring best returns in terms of regional integration in trade, commerce, security, and also social integration. Remember, once DRC is worked on and it's actually peaceful, we can do anything that we want in terms of even bringing a common currency, loosening, the movement of people, goods and services along the borders. And remember, this will actually enhance even tourism, people interacting and exchanging culture, and just being that these countries actually speak Swahili as the base language. It will be so much easier to actually foment and be able to grow these new partnerships. So to me, Miriam, I think Congo has been out of the EAC maybe by what I'll see as a mistake, because it had all the good reasons to be in the East African communities. However, for one reason or another, it has been staying out in the cold for quite far too long. And I believe if this had happened early enough, maybe perhaps today we could not be talking about maybe pacifying Congo. This would have been something that maybe could have been done a while back ago in the day. So to me, I think there's the light at the end of the tunnel for Congo, and there is a big benefit that maybe could accrue to this new partnership between Congo and other East African member states. And these benefits will actually spill over to all the member states. And therefore, it is a good thing to come together and be able to work on our economies, to be able to work on our leadership, and also the integration of our communities across the bloc. I'll just like maybe to finalize by quoting Chinua Achebe. He said that when kinsmen come together and sit under the moon, the light of the moon, it is not that they cannot be able to see the moon in their own homesteads. It is not because they cannot even be able to have food in their own houses, but they come together for a bigger purpose, a purpose to grow one another and be able to elevate the status of the society that they live in. And that is the essence of having all these countries coming together, so that they can be able to bolster and grow the integration and work together towards a common purpose, so that they are able to carve a niche for themselves in Africa as a continent, and also in the global arena. So I believe this is the best way to go. And if we could continue having such regional communities, when they all come together in Africa, they will actually be able to form a much stronger force that could actually maybe in some future day replace the AU, which has been so much domicile and which has been defunct for quite some time. So Miriam, I see a very, very bright future for East Africa. I see a very brighter future for the African continent when we come together. They say when people of right mind and same ambition come together, actually great things happen. So we are waiting to see these great things coming out of this new partnership, Miriam. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. And as we have stated there earlier, of course, DRC applied for its membership to the East African community first in 2019, and it has taken about 3 years for it to be admitted yesterday. And of course, under the leadership of President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the current chairperson of the East African community, who said at the summit that the admission of the DRC into the bloc would enable the community achieve the much needed development based on the economies of scale, because now we do, we have about 300 million, people in the larger East African community, as opposed to the 90 million. So the more we are, the more even the bargaining power and the bigger market we are, even for the world. And Claudio, before we get into the details of that, of what the numerical power might mean to this region, what are your thoughts on the Democratic Republic of Congo joining the East African community?
I think much has been said by Wesonga, but just tried on a few. DRC has a mixed economic system, which includes a variety of private freedom combination with centralized economic economic planning and government regulations. We also know that DRC, widely considered to be the richest country in the world regarding natural resources, and its deposit of raw materials also is estimated to be in excess of 24 trillion, because its main source of economic is the mineral deposit. So I think it made a positive move to enter into the free trade agreement on goods and services with the 6 existing members. However, I hope that it will not be a problem, since what I understand is also DRC also belongs to the COMESA and the SADC. So I hope and I also believe that it joining the EAC will also boost its growth and curb out the insecurity.
Okay, thank you so much. Paul, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, your thoughts on the DRC joining the East African community?
Okay, my thoughts, I think most of the points have been canvassed. I will just have a view of when you look back before DRC came into light in joining the community, there was some setback that were being seen by member states, especially restrictions or tariffs being introduced between Kenya and Tanzania during the time when President Magufuli was the president. There used to be some friction. So afterwards, the new president, Samia Suluhu, solved some of those issues with the President Uhuru Kenyatta. So the coming of DRC brought acceleration to the member states that were having issues. Also Uganda and Rwanda, they had some political issues in between them. Those things have been resolved with the coming of DRC Congo. Also, when you look at Burundi and Rwanda again, before the death of Pierre Nkurunziza, they used to be having some restriction in between the border. But when the new general came in power, Evariste and Ndayishimiye, that easiness of communication between the two countries has been descended. And also, I think President Tshisekedi has visited Rwanda, has visited Congo, has visited Tanzania, he has visited Uganda on the same. So I think the coming of Congo DRC into the play is now bringing more acceleration because of its availability of the raw materials for the industries in most of these common East African countries. That's my take.
Okay, thank you so much. And of course, numbers do matter when it comes to international trade. The addition of DRC's economy to the community implies that there is an increased purchasing power when you look at the business and the economic aspect of it. But there also the issue of insecurity, which I think is a big concern to even some of the member states, because we know the ongoing conflict that has refused to cease in the northern part of the Democratic of Congo, and other East African countries have been accused of fueling that. Uganda has been dropped in that, and Rwanda, and as I mentioned there earlier, just yesterday, Rwandan government accused the DRC government accused the Rwandese army of being some of the people participating and working in cahoots with the M23 rebels in northern DRC to bring the instability that we've seen in that area. So what are some of these issues, Doc, and how will that some of these issues, especially in the insecurity, how will they affect the smooth cooperation within the countries in the East African community?
Thank you very much, Miriam. First of all, I want to thank the panel for having dissected some of the difficulties, obstacles. With Songa, you brought out quite a number of things that the obstacles that might come. And Miriam, you have pointed out huge obstacles, challenges. Ratification of Congo's entry, DRC, will depend on how these obstacles will be, resolved. For example, we have militias. Congo has got 142 militias in Congo, in the territory. All of them operating and killing the same people. that we are integrating in the East African community. One of the challenges that the people of East Africa are going to face is to face these monsters of warlords. Congo, as you know, is one of the biggest contributors of International Criminal Court convicts and suspects. Most of them, Tagana, Bosco Tagana, Thomas Lubanga, all this, they came from Congo. Congo, as you know, Pierre Bemba, as you know, is one of the most volatile regions in the Great Lakes region. Militia and militia, the hostilities exist between Uganda and Rwanda, which have now smoothened their hostilities. I'm happy to report that there is quite a lot of smoothness, and the trucks and transport is moving between the two countries. And I hope it will remain like that. No other country will come up and say, we close it, because not only Uganda is missing, East African community countries are missing the services of and businesses in Rwanda and Uganda. So when you look at those mediums, you find that these are some of the obstacles, challenges that are going to face when we are tackling the rearrangement of Congo. The rearrangement of Congo needs, one, we better take out the rebel forces, all of them, throw them out of Congo, neutralize them in one way or the other. Two, the rearrangement of Congo means we should stop external mercenary armies and those countries that have always brought chaos for Africa. The people who wanted to siphon the resources, the minerals, those who signed for contracts in Paris and then come to utilize those paperwork to hold us hostages, we need to get them out. Time has come for Africa to stand up to say enough is enough. What time shall we say that? That is one of the most challenging effort of external darker forces. Another force that could bring us as an obstacle medium is the question of democracy. Democracy in Africa and the elections seem to be the centerpiece of conflicts, seem to be the trigger happy machines of conflicts, human rights abuses, imprisonment of opponents. This is one of the things that East Africa must start uniformly to preach. Otherwise, we don't need it, the East African community, where other countries, people are being pressed. Some people don't sleep. Some people sleep in jails. Some people are in holes, in forests. Some have gone to pick up arms. No, we want an East Africa that can deliver the real change for the future generation. Now, as far as Congo being an asset, medium, yes, it will be an asset. The population itself is an asset. China, when we go to China to buy, we don't buy their real commodities. We are buying the surplus commodities. Surplus. If you are buying sandals from China, you are buying slippers from China for your bathroom and a hotel. You are not buying what they are producing in the hotel medium. You are buying a surplus. When will Uganda have a surplus? When will Kenya have a surplus? Every year in, every year out, the country of Kenya cries of hunger and starvation, water. Where is the water? I want to take this opportunity to thank Museveni for having used a method of gravity. Wesonga, you can help me here. Gravity, we have hills, mountains. I tell you, the water in our place, in Uganda, there is no place which lacks water at the moment because he has used gravity. Pipes have been laid and the gravity water, what is it called? Wesonga, look for that word. The water that is in the compound, in my compound, the home. where my mother has a tap, and he pays the meter. He's paying in a village. When I left, this thing was not there. 37 years ago, there was nothing like that, Miriam. We want a Congo to change. Congo has a lot of water, but people lack water. Did you know that? They don't have the water. It is sad that you have got rivers, but you don't have water to drink. Instead, the water becomes a hazard. The rivers have become a hazard, taking people and breeding crocodiles that come to kill people. Kenya has rivers. How many of us have turned this river Tana? And we dig all the money, all these counties, where people come with camels. We are just lazy. African states, some states, people are lazy. If you are telling me that you will maintain it because you have 500 camels, you will walk all the way from Marsabit to Taita Taveta, crushing every farm, because you are entitled to be a nomadic pastoralist. Hala, what type of Africa is this, Miriam? And all my camels must have access to water. Where is your governor? Why can't you ask your governor, where is the water? The government has voted money for the water. Where is the water then? Where is it? The governors have swallowed the water. Instead, they have bought the big cars. They have given their children big cars. They drive and beat us in nightclubs. All the men who cannot go out and listen to music, but they go out to be beaten up because they are sharing. The only thing is music. When you want to listen to old rumba, don't you go to Citizen Roga Roga? And now you are listening to Citizen Roga Roga and you are beaten by a man who is a son of a governor, who comes out with a car which has pipes, 6 pipes, exhaust pipes, Miriam, 6 exhaust pipes, that when he sits on the car, the whole building where the nightclub is, the windows shatter and some of them break and have cracks. This is the life we're having now. And then we come to Nairobi and condemn Uhuru Kenyatta, we have no water. Yet this money has been diverted to buying those Porsche, Cayenne, BMWs, Wesonga, Range Rovers, the latest. This is a tragedy. Congo must change. The Congolese must see the benefit. The Congolese in DRC, Congo, in Kinshasa, the affluent are the only ones who walk with suits. Miriam, I want to end here and to end the show and by giving you a very interesting example that I encountered in 1992. I lived in London, in Surrey. 3 houses from me were Congolese friends. And in 1992, we could be called to go and work because London had work. Not like today, you have to look for work. Those days, the employment agency would call you and say, we need 2 supervisors today for 2 weeks. They could send you a car and give you advance money, pounds, to come and work. So I used to be a supervisor in a supermarket called Sainsbury. And that Sainsbury, I used to work from 10 o'clock up to about 6 o'clock. Then I hand over to another manager. I'll make sure that all the things are packed very properly. I've not told you this, and I think time has come for us, Miriam, you and I, to sit down and you see my life. So I had two Congolese friends, and these Congolese friends used to earn, by that time we used to earn 150 pounds per week. It was a lot of money per week. So on Monday, my friend would come and ask me, can I have 50 pounds? One of the Congolese could ask me, can I have 50 pounds? You will take the money. Since you're a supervisor, you get more money. You will take from my salary. Then I asked the Congolese guy, why do you want my 50 pounds today when you got money on Saturday? He said, can't you look at me? Look at me. In fact, that is, Monday is given for us for an off. And Miriam, we used to go to, 1992, we used to go to a pub. So the Congolese who is asking me for 50 pounds, we have gone to pub to see, to hammer 2 pints cold water, a hot, cold pints before we go home. His suit, his shoes, his shirt, they all cost 142 pounds. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Miriam and Kiragu, Daniel, I am telling you, that is, the money is gone. And he said it is here. And the 50 on Saturday, take it, but give me to keep for transport. Then I looked at this younger man, because I was the oldest amongst them. I said, boss, surely you buy suit? Yes, he said, this suit. By then, a good suit was about 40 pounds. Good, nice suit. And they don't buy them in London. There's a shop that brings them from Paris. The perfume that he had cost about 22 pounds. Very expensive. That the whole pub was saying, hello, what has happened around here? And the man was borrowing me 50 pounds. So I started down, I said, I'm going to the till outside the Barclays Bank, draw that money. So when I came with the notes, they used to be bigger notes of 2020. I came with those notes, Miriam. He said, have you, please give me. And then I said, it's okay, I'm giving you these notes. But this is the last time I'm lending you my money. Then he said, why? I said, your life is, on Saturday you called me. You wanted us to go to a nightclub in North London. Because at that time I was also a single man. With my children were being looked for by the Red Cross. I did not know where they were. The man said, no, we go to North London for club. I said, you called me, we go to North London. And now you tell me you went to the shop, bought 142 worth of cloth. Please, let it be the last time. He said, but David, what can I do? He said, this is life. This is life. In Kinshasa, if you are not smart, you won't even be heard. If you are not smart in Kinshasa, in Congo, in Goma, if you are not wearing this Versace or Versace, what is it called, Versace? This
Satua. Satua.
If you are not wearing a nice suit, nobody will talk to you. I say, huh? Yes. That's why we have that culture. The guy today, he found me when I went back. He has got a house. He's got his wife. He brought his children. And every time when I reach London, he has a taxi rank. And I call his taxi to pick me, to take me home. And when the taxi man says, oh, it was Dr. Matsanga, he said, that one you don't pay. He paid me in 1992. long time ago. He gave me advice. I use his taxi. So, in a nutshell, what I'm saying, Miriam, and the viewers across the continent of Africa, that as we enter this new era and the marriage, our brothers must also be encouraged to change mindset. Because what kills most Africa is mindset. What kills most Africa is when you go to Dubai, you start fraudulent activities of looking for credit cards of other Africans online. And Dubai brought a visa. Kenyans used to go to Dubai without a visa. Uganda used to go to Dubai without a visa. We carried our heroism, our bad manners, our fraud from Uganda, from Kenya, from Tanzania, from Nigeria, mainly for fraud. Dubai put visas on us. So we better change our behavior. Our mindsets, our cultures must integrate. But if they are going to integrate at the cost of Miriam's survival, then people will refuse. I want to end here by thanking you, that I thank the governments of East Africa for welcoming Democratic Republic of Congo. My mission of rearranging Congo was fulfilled yesterday. Thank you very much, His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and others. Congo has been rearranged. Next, let's move to Nigeria. Let's see whether Nigeria could be rearranged. I now allow any last comments or any question that Miriam can permit us. If Miriam can permit you to talk, I'm ready to answer any questions that you have a doubt. Kiragu?
My question is most on the DRC. We know it belongs to COMESA and the SADC. Will it cause any problem, hence its joining of the EAC?
Tanzania is in SADC and Tanzania is in East Africa. You have brought a very critical, you are right. You have got that is a very bright question. Some of these countries that are in one leg in SADC, one leg in East Africa, indeed, one leg in Arab League, one leg in AU. You have seen Somalia quoting Arab League, Djibouti quoting Arab League, Egypt, Arab League, Tunisia, Libya, Morocco, all those, Mauritania, even in Nigeria quotes Arab League. It is true. That is also a factor that we had forgotten about.
But the DR is just, sorry, Doc, the DR is just about to join now COMESA because it's joining the East Africa. COMESA is the common market of Eastern and Southern Africa, and I doubt that DR was part of the Southern of SADC. I doubt that.
It is SADC. It is a medium. DRC is SADC.
Okay.
Is SADC. Is a member of SADC. Yes.
Okay.
Democratic Republic of Congo. You remember SADC forces came to Congo to rescue Kabila. Yes, that's how Zimbabwe came into Angola, Zimbabwe, Namibia came into, and Mandela refused. So that is a crucial point, Miriam. We better mark that one and see. It could be an obstacle because if you have two alliances, one of them competing for you, you could choose to be. Tanzania was almost going to SADC. If Magufuli was still around, as Paul has said, some of the things would not be happening today. Because Magufuli was not in favor of even allowing Congo to come. He says they are mad people. That's what Magufuli was saying. They are mad. When you allow them a lot of, they come, they have wars, they know who is bringing the war, and they don't tell you who wants the war to continue. So Magufuli used to term them as mad people. So you could have not allowed them. So that's a good question, and I think the East African states must check on that and guard against that. Next question.
I have a question, Dr.
Yeah.
My question touches on cross-border or cross-border crime. Yeah, you can remember some few years back, there used to be a formation of police chiefs around East Africa, whereby they can share the intelligence about the cross-border crimes, including human trafficking. So far, where we have reached, we have not seen much effort being done. What is your take on it, Daktari?
You are talking about cross-border crimes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, cross-border crime is one of the duties that the Security Pact of East African Community must handle. Rebels cross over. We have now seen what is happening in Karamoja in Uganda. And Miriam, you better bring that topic, because this thing of Karamoja again bursting into armed bandits, where are they coming from? Who are they? Who armed them? And then Uganda is saying we chase them into Kenya. Why are they chasing them into Kenya instead of killing them? Yeah. Miriam, have you also thought about it? Uganda's policies to kill you, they catch you as a cattle rustler, you are killed. Why are they being chased to go back in unless these are not the real rebels? Anyway, I don't want to think on those terms, but if you look at what is happening in the Capedo Triangle, where our brother Ruto does not think about his home, he's thinking about Mount Kenya. Ruto is thinking about Mount Kenya, but the people in Baringo who are his people, whom he should think for. If I were him, I would earn those votes in there by trying to say, what can we do? I'm here. Let's address this problem. But he's busy looking for votes in Mount Kenya while people in the Rift Valley are dying. So that's the president that you want. You know, impact, you know, triggering ethnic tensions, saying we. Now, but we, the people in Kenya, in Kalenjin, Tai, all those areas of Baringo, Erengoya Marakwet, the Siguta Valley, Turkana up there, they are dying. They are dying. There are a new group of bandits who have never been the real bandits. The cattle rustlers, they are now different. These are terrorists. Cross-border crime is a menace, and it must be tackled. Thank you.
What about human trafficking? Because there was a report at one time, there were people transporting children from areas of Lang in the northern Uganda. They are bringing them to Isilay.
My people, or our people.
The Langi people.
Our people, because yes. You are also part of our people.
Yes.
Well, that is true, that there was that report, and I think most of the girls, some of them have been found in Kenya without working permits and so on. That is a very big problem, yes. Thank you. Any other questions, Miriam? Otherwise, Wesonga, do you have any question?
I don't have any other question, Dr. Matsanga. You've been able to handle this particular conflict for quite a long time. I remember even watching some clip on you.
Yes. We have lost you again, Miriam.
No, I don't have a question.
Okay, thank you. Finish it for us.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your time.
And we believe now we're going to see the fruits of that particular membership and integration very soon.
Very well.
Thank you. Back to you, Miriam.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later. This has been Diplomatic Links. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you very much.